Morning everyone, Sarah Allison here. I'm going to be doing the recruitment training this morning. You've identified three main areas that you're coming across as a bit of a stumbling block. And I imagine they're pretty common for most people. So the first one is finding the right people. Where do we go to find these wonderful, magical people that are going to be committed to our business? How do we make that initial approach? We don't want to come across being pushy. And finally, the closing. How do we go about actually finishing it off once they seem interested? So I'm going to break it down. This video will be a bit longer than my usual ones because I'm covering a little bit more. But it's what you've identified, and I think it's easier to do it verbally than it is in words sometimes. So the first part is finding the right people. So I taught you through with the challenges how to set up your groups, and you've set them up around your passion, whatever that may be. And these people share a passion with you, and these people are obviously committed to that passion, and these are the sort of qualities that you are looking for. So you've got a pool of people within your group that you can potentially recruit. Obviously not all of them are going to be interested, but that group, the reason for setting that up was so that you have got that pool of people with similar interests and similar traits to you. That's why you matched it to your passion, because they're similar to you. Okay, so that's your first place to look, is your own group. To make sure you are getting to know everyone that comes into your group. That's why I went through private messaging them and the whole conversation process. If you didn't catch that, then let me know and I'll write it up for you. The other place is obviously to look for groups that are similar or that might contain the sort of people that you've got. So perhaps write a list of the sort of qualities that you are looking for. And this is where it's difficult. This is why personally I have my own group, because people come into it. But obviously not all of you have chosen to do that. So I'm trying to think outside the box for you. But if you write down a list of the sort of qualities and sort of people that you are looking for, and then try and do a search on Facebook or Twitter, whatever it is you're on, and find people within those groups. Make those conversations in the exact same way you would in your own group. Put up something as soon as someone comments, put up something of value, and as soon as someone comments, get involved in that conversation. That is harder because you're going into someone else's group. You haven't got the authority. This is why I talk about setting up your own group, because you have that group of people, you have the authority, so that when you approach them, they respect you, they trust you. So I will go back. I do think it's really important that you set up your own groups, because ultimately that will cover the first section. The initial approach is actually, again, once you've got your group up and running, the initial approach is very simple, because you private message them to say, hi, I've just approved you into my group. It's really nice to meet you. Whereabouts are you from? And you're starting off a very simple conversation with them. And then depending on what your group is all about, you direct the conversation. You ask them questions about what they're doing, whatever their interest is. You know you're the expert in that, so you direct that conversation. You find out more about them. You see where they're at in their lives. And at some point, there will be a window of opportunity, and you will sense that. If you're good at talking to people, which ultimately is a major skill in network marketing, so that should be something you're good at, you will sense whatever it is that's underlying for them. So if your group is about, say, singing, because I know someone who has got a singing group, and you get into a private conversation with someone and start off, you're just talking about singing, what your experiences have been, where you've sung, have you released anything, that kind of thing. But you will start to underpin, because someone might say, oh, well, I was doing this, but then I had my kids and I don't really get the time to do it anymore. And now you've got time. Time is something that network marketing gives you, because you work less, don't we? We work less hours than we would in a normal job. And the ultimate goal of network marketing is to earn more money to in less hours. And so you've got, there you go, that's straight in. You don't have to be obvious about it, but you can say, I totally understand, it's really hard to find the time for things. That's why I'm so pleased that I found network marketing, because it gives me all the freedom to do all those things, to chase my dreams. Do you see how that works? You're talking about what they want to hear. You're giving them what they want to hear. So the initial approach, again, isn't difficult. Once you're in a conversation with someone, it's following up with these conversations, and that is the biggest part of your role, really, is talking to people. Okay, now I put something on my wall yesterday, my personal profile wall, and I'm going to just read it out to you, because this is a big part of the mindset game. I'm going to talk about closing in a minute, but this really underpins something about closing, and it's, what's your secret? He replied, there's no secret. I simply showed the plan to 1,200 people. 900 said no. Only 300 signed up. Out of those 300, only 85 did anything at all. Out of those 85, only 35 were serious. And out of those 35, 11 made me a millionaire. So it is a numbers game. This is where the mind shift has to change. You're not going to get every single person you speak to say yes. If you look at that, the odds are very low. I've always said it's approximately 1 in 10 people that you speak to. But obviously, it depends on sort of where you are in the process with those 10 people. But not everyone you speak to is going to sign up, and you need to let go of the angst that you get when you say no. And I do it. I'm exactly the same. I get that sometimes, where I'm chatting to people and I get scared. I get scared that they're going to not want to speak to me again. So I pull back and I don't mention the opportunity. And I'm having to train myself. I'm sharing this because I want you to know that even though I've got all this knowledge and experience, I still make those same mistakes. I still have those issues. It's an ongoing process. We have to train ourselves to do this, and we all have slip-ups with it. That's perfectly natural. So don't beat yourself up about it, is what I'm saying. It does happen to everyone. But concentrate on the fact that it is a numbers game. The more people you speak to, the more people you get into your group and you're having those conversations with, the more people you will recruit. So on to closing, and people have said that you get to closing and then suddenly they start coming up with all these objections. And obviously I've sent you all the objection responses, and they will help you, massively help you. But not everyone will close, and that's what I'm saying. That quote, not everyone will say yes. Some will say no, not right now, in which case you follow up. You don't have to beat them over the head with it. People talk about momentum, and that is important. A majority of high-earning network marketers will tell you you've got to keep the momentum going. Once you've sent them in some information, you need to follow it up with it really quickly, because once you've lost the momentum, you're less likely to sign them. So keep going with them. Keep having these conversations. If they're saying not right now, get to the bottom of why not right now. With the objection sheet, it talks you through. Are there any more questions that you need to ask? What is it that's holding you back? You need to get to the bottom of it. Some people will just put their foot down and say, look, I'm just not ready to do it now. And you've got a choice at that point. You can just say, you know what, maybe they're never going to do it. Or you can follow them up in a month. And I would always say to them, okay, if you're not ready now, would you like me to call you back in a week's time, in a month's time? Whatever they agree to, because that's polite. It's showing them that you respect them. And even if they don't turn out to be someone you sign up, they may turn out to be a customer. So keep that relationship up. Don't drop them off just because they haven't said no straight away. And like I say, with the closing, that objection sheet should cover quite a lot of them. It's a majority of objections that people come across, and with some good responses. You've got to listen to what the other person's saying, and really pick up on where they're at. And I've got people that have come and been like really interested, and you've given them everything. You've given them literally everything. You've given them the sign up link. You've done the lot, and they still don't do it. And I normally will follow up once, maybe twice. But at that point, I just think they're not that committed. And if I'm having to work this hard to get them to just sign up, are they really going to be committed to working hard? And ultimately, like Kerry said in the comments, you do want people that are committed and that are prepared to put in the work. So I think at that point, you probably have to ask yourself, is this the person that's going to work hard, or are they showing a little bit of a lack of commitment, and make a choice there? Not saying, like I say, I'm not saying don't ever speak to them again. Keep following them up every so often, because you never know, they may change, their life may change, and they may suddenly become all fired up and desperately want this opportunity. But at that moment in time, they're not showing the characteristics that you are looking for. And like I said, go back to that quote, let it go, move on to the next one. Don't flog a dead horse. Okay, I hope that's been helpful. If there is anything else that you want covering, or if you feel that I haven't gone into enough detail in anything, just either drop me a PM or comment below and let me know. Recruitment is obviously the biggest part of it, but it's also the most difficult, because it's a lot about confidence, and it is a lot about perfecting your skills. So the more you do it, the better you will get. So I hope this has helped. Take care and have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.